We're here for SA Boxing Talk. We have Ade with us here. Boxing with Ade, a YouTube channel that is growing in leaps and bounds. Actually, it's grown really quickly in a short space of time. Talk to us about how your rise in the YouTube world has come.
It's crazy because me and my friend Ryan, we started Box Talk, it was called, about 4 or 5 years ago. So almost like you, massive boxing fan, but didn't really know how to interview these boxers. You know, didn't know how to contact them on Twitter or Instagram. I don't even know if Instagram was around back then. So we just ended up going to boxing shows and waiting for them to come out after boxing shows with a camera and just started interviewing them. So it was almost like cheap, free kind of content. And then we started that and started to get some traction. We started to ask questions that maybe people were scared to ask, like steroids in boxing and all those kind of things. And then I started the channel myself about a year ago, and I've tried to keep it like that. Really kind of ask questions that maybe other channels don't want to ask. And I think people kind of respected that, and obviously the numbers just keep on growing. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, well, how's this video done 2,000?
Yeah.
No, are they crazy? So I guess it's just like plugging away and just more content and more content.
And there's a small world where two YouTubers come together and they meet in a place like this. Look how beautiful this place is.
I'm jealous. Guys, he's cheating here. Because he's used this backdrop for him. And this is ridiculous, the Indian Ocean behind us.
I gotta say, I just got a better program director. But, I mean, how do you, born in Nigeria, lived in the UK your whole life, end up in South Africa?
I don't actually know. I want to come out with some amazing answer, but I think for me, being in the UK, obviously the boxing scene is massive in the UK. But because it's massive, it's almost overpopulated in a weird way. Obviously, you know about the IFL, Seconds Out, Fight Hyper there. And I feel like African boxing is growing and growing and growing. So the aim was always to come back to Africa.
Yeah.
I am Nigerian. Me and my partner we moved back to Nigeria. And I just want to see the growth of African boxing. We've got some great names out from Africa, but in Europe that are doing amazing things like Zolana Tete, Dogbo in America, Heki Butler, obviously fights in Asia a lot. And I just want to see the growth of the next Heki Butler, the next Tete. And I thought, you know what? Stop talking about it and get to Africa and do something about it.
Do you see this? I mean, obviously, as you said, the UK is really populated with boxing journalists and whatnot. Do you see it more as an advantage? I know the boxing scene isn't massive in Africa, but do you see it more, you coming here, there's more opportunity?
Yeah, there's loads more opportunity. I really do. I feel like boxing in Africa is probably, is it even a top 7, 8 sport in Africa right now?
Number 8.
There you go. Whereas boxing in the UK is number 2. So I've grown up now watching boxing. My knowledge of boxing is massive. So I come here with quite a vast knowledge of boxing. Whereas because boxing is the 8th best sport in here, not that I kind of jump the queue in a sense, but I kind of bring quite a bit of knowledge here. So there's not many guys that know a lot about boxing just because it's not on TV as much. Obviously now with things like Fox Sports and other channels doing it, it's starting to get a bit better, and I feel like I've just jumped in at the right time.
Obviously, people must watch your channel, and I'm saying this, people must go watch this channel. He's interviewed guys like
I beg you.
Anthony Joshua. Just mention some of the names, because people can go there and actually type in the names and go watch those interviews. Yeah,
it's weird. I've interviewed guys like Amir Khan, Anthony Joshua.
Look at those names
Derek
already.
Chisora, James DeGale, Eddie Hearn, loads more. But I think if you were in the UK, you would have done exactly the same thing. Your hunger for it is exactly the same as my hunger for it. I see the way you guys literally find someone, camera, point, start talking. And that's exactly the way it is in the UK. But I think they're more accessible in the UK. So some of the big names in the UK, you can literally go to their gym and interview them. And that's what I've done in the UK. I've gone to gyms, put a camera in their face, and they're happy to talk. And that's, I guess, the big thing about boxing. Although it is the number 2 sport in the UK, these guys want to talk. Whereas like footballers don't really want to say anything to you. They're scared of taking. Where boxers are happy to get on camera.
When you pull aside a South African boxer and you want to give him questions, does he give you as much as a UK guy gives you? Not at all.
And it's weird because you want to see them grow in their development, and you're trying to ask questions that, you know what it is, you're a journalist, you want to ask open questions.
Yeah.
And you get like a one-word answer. And you're thinking, look, I'm trying to help you here. No, I'm not getting paid to do this, I'm trying to help you, So I feel like one thing they lack, and it's not just South African boxers, it's African boxers in general. The one thing they massively lack, which I think goes against your channel really, because you're trying to really get some stuff out of them.
Some like real content.
Like give me something to work on, guys. Exactly. It's the hardest thing for a journalist, I think, when you ask a question and you get nothing back. And then you've got to ask another question. And an interview that should be like 25 minutes ends up being 2 minutes. And it's like, well, what's the point of that?
What do you put that down to? Do you think it's culturally? Do you think that they're just taught different in England? Like, what do you put that down to? The fact that you don't get as much when you talk to a South African guy, a guy from Africa?
I think it's cultural. I think with boxing, almost like any kind of martial arts, fighting discipline, I think there's a lot of respect.
Yeah.
And I don't think they realize that, yes, there is that lot of respect, but you've got to sell yourself as well. You've got to sell the product. I mean, Floyd Mayweather was the best at it. Muhammad Ali done it for years. You're talking two of the greatest, and they realize what they've got to do. You know, behind closed doors, I've spoken to people that know Floyd Mayweather. He's a nice guy, quiet, but as soon as the camera gets on him, you've got to start trash talking a bit. You know, and I think Muhammad Ali done exactly the same thing. I think the African boxers don't realize that in order to get yourself out there, you might have to talk a bit of trash.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to swear and be rude, but you might have to sell yourself a bit, especially when a mic's in your face.
When you look at the top 10 list that I compiled not too long ago, and you look on that list, and you can go from 1 to 10 and say all those guys are just humble, they will not speak.
That's all.
Do you think, in saying that, that's why they don't get the following that perhaps some of the other countries do?
That's why they don't get the following. That's why they don't get the big fights. I mean, they're getting big fights, but in terms of like calling other fighters out, like sometimes I want Heki to get on the mic after a fight and say, you know, I want you next.
Yeah.
Or I want Zolani Teta to do it, and they don't do it. They're like, you ask them, who do you want next? And it's like,
ask my manager.
And I'm like, well, no, this is your opportunity to say who you want, guys.
Sell yourself.
Sell yourself. And 9 times out of 10, you do that, the fight happens.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like they need to forget all the niceties. I mean, look, boxing's a physical sport. You know, you need to get paid. And I think they need to forget all the niceties sometimes and just call someone out. Come on, give me an opportunity. And I think Zolani, maybe because he's been in Europe now for the last sort of 5-6 years, he's starting to do that a little bit. He's become a bit more colourful. And I feel like, I don't know if that's a European thing.
Or Frank Warren thing, maybe they've...
Frank Warren, I think behind the scenes, maybe they've got a social manager that says, okay, you need to start doing this. He's a bit more vocal on Twitter and social media. So I think African boxers really need to plug it because the talent's here. I mean, me and you go to as many shows as we can and we see there's a lot of talent here. But that talent needs to be pushed and given a chance. And I think the only way you can push yourself is by talking a little crap on social media sometimes.
That's agreed. And obviously you sit down with promoters, you've sat down with really top journalists as well.
Yeah.
Just to kind of speak about how do you feel when you speak, like obviously I've been in awe, I'm just talking the South African scene, but when you hitting that scene when guys got 2 million followers on Instagram, like it's a different ball game. So how do you deal in that situation when you're sitting across Anthony Joshua like this, or you know, whoever you're going to speak to? How do you sit across them and be like, you know?
It's strange. I think don't get it twisted. My heart's skipping a beat. I mean, if a doctor was to come past immediately, they'll say, "Oh my God, this guy's going to die or faint." So I am very nervous, but at the same time, you almost have to look at him as you're just a human being, right? You're just a human being that boxes. I am a journalist that loves boxing. So in a weird way, we're both here because we deserve to be here. You know, I might not have, you know, the accolades you have as a boxing, but you know, I kind of got small accolades in the journalist world. So we're both here because we want to be here and we deserve to be here. So you do get nervous, but I think once you do it once or twice, you overcome those nerves, right? I mean, you've done Thomas Oosthuizen, and that must have been nervous, just meeting him. He's a former world champion. He's probably one of the biggest names in African boxing, especially in the last sort of 10, 15 years. So again, I think it's all relative. But don't get it twisted. Anthony Joshua is obviously 6'7". I'm not that tall. So I think he tried to do the interview standing up, and I was like, can we sit down, please? Yeah. So you do get nervous, but I think because I love boxing so much, I think I overcome it just because of my love of boxing rather than my fear of it.
Your boxing channel isn't just an interview channel. You also analyze fights. You speak about incidents that happen. Just give us some more on that, because obviously you spoke about the Charlos and whatnot. You really interact with the fans as well.
Yeah. I think when I first started, I almost was kind of what you're doing right now. So I was going to gyms and after fights interviewing boxers, but I wanted to do a bit more. So I said, okay, let me just sit down in my house and talk about things that really either piss me off in boxing, things that are a bit taboo. Yeah. You know, we spoke about the Charlo video I done where I spoke about these young boxers, you know, drinking after fights or before fights.
That's my favorite video.
What are you doing? Yeah. You know, so I like to kind of give what I think the fans want. So I'll put those kind of videos out. If I get a good response, I stick to those videos. And I think it's always trying to cater for what the fans want. And I've realized those kind of, if you like, controversial videos are what's really driving my numbers. Yeah. You know, I could sit down and do nice stuff about boxers and who they should fight next. People don't really want that. Not on my channel anyway. They want to hear a guy being very honest and open. And I think that's what journalism's about. It's difficult sometimes when you're in front of these boxers because you know sometimes you might be saying bad things about them. But I think we've almost got to stick true to our journalism. Yeah. And be very honest and open to the fans. They see what's going on and they look at guys like myself and your channel and other channels to speak about it, right? We're their voice. And I think that's what I've tried to evolve to, in the last sort of 12 months. Just being honest to the people and giving them what they want.
Not just are you a YouTuber, you're a man of many skills. Commentary, you're just starting with Fox Sports Africa now. It's a big venture for you. How you feeling about the whole scene.
Pardon my French, but I am shitting myself, really. Fox Sports looks a great opportunity. Commentary was something I never planned for. I just started this boxing world thing 4 or 5 years ago, and my aim really was just to interview boxers. That was it. And then the commentary thing came along, and obviously you have to change what you're doing. There's a certain way I speak right now in front of the camera that I don't really want to do in commentary.
Yeah.
But I think they've chose me because I speak this way. You know, because I didn't maybe train as a journalist, I maybe see things a bit differently. So I've been chosen, I think, because of how outspoken I am, because of how vocal I am. But Fox Sports, it's a great platform. There are other platforms I work on and commentate, but this is by far the biggest. And I guess you just never know where you're going to go. But Fox Sports, we could be in America doing this next year in front of the MGM Grand. So you never know where that could be good, right? Yeah. So you never know where you're going to go. But look, commentary is a big thing for me. I just kind of want to tick every box I can tick in boxing. So reporting, analysis, commentary, and then I'll be happy to say, you know what, I've done what I could do, because I was too scared to get in the ring. Yeah. So this is the next best thing for me.
Just thank you again for actually coming on and speaking to us about your show. And I just want to mention like what an honor it is actually.
Get out of here.
Considering your numbers, considering what you're doing in the sports, your experience, what an honor it is actually chatting to you and sitting here chair to chair and kind of, you know, sending back to our channel, sending back to your channel, and hopefully to more and more successful times.
Honestly, and you guys as well. Obviously, I'm not going to be softy here, guys, but I've been following these guys for about 12 months now. I started to notice you guys. I was like, who are these SA Boxing Talk guys? And you watch them and you watch the interviews, and it's really good interviews. And you're asking questions again, like me, questions that maybe some guys don't want to ask.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hardest thing. I think you get in front of boxers and you just want to be nice to them.
Yeah, you can't always ask them the nice questions.
You can't always ask the nice questions.
You've got to take a risk sometimes, and if they hate you for it, they'll come around.
They'll come around because they realize, you know, okay, that guy's real.
Yeah.
I think for what you guys are doing, I think it's immense. I think the African boxing scene, particularly South African boxing scene, needs it. There is nothing like it. So you guys are almost the trailblazers here. So I feel good that I'm speaking to a trailblazer. I wasn't a trailblazer in the UK. You're a trailblazer here. So
thanks.
Honestly, more power to you. I'm sure
much.
you guys are going to do massive things in the next 2019 is going to be massive for you.
Yeah, I reckon for both of us. I mean, you got your own goals that you're going to hit now.
Absolutely.
If you haven't checked out his channel yet, Boxing Talk with Ade, make sure you check it out.
Please, guys, please check my channel out. You will enjoy it.
Thank you very much for watching.
Cheers.